Christmas morning dawned with the promise of familial warmth and festive joy. Our living room was adorned with the sparkling lights of the tree, a kaleidoscope of color and cheer. Presents nestled beneath the branches, each one a carefully wrapped token of love and generosity. The day unfolded with laughter and shared moments as my family and I gathered to celebrate the holiday. We exchanged gifts, reveling in the joy of giving and receiving. Among the packages, one particular present caught my eye, a small box wrapped in elegant paper, devoid of a tag or any indication of its sender. Intrigued, I picked up the mysterious gift, its weight curious in my hands. The paper gave way to reveal a worn, tarnished key nestled within. Its antique design suggested a time long past, and as I held it, an inexplicable chill coursed through my veins. No one claimed responsibility for the enigmatic gift, and a subtle unease settled over the room. As the day waned into evening, the festive glow of Christmas lights outside dimmed, and shadows deepened within our home. The key, now clutched tightly in my hand, seemed to pulse with an energy that defied explanation. I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this key than met the eye. As midnight approached, a subtle shift occurred. The air turned heavy, and an eerie silence descended upon the house. Soft whispers echoed through the hallways, too faint to decipher. The antique key, almost alive in my palm, guided me to an ancient door tucked away in a forgotten corner of our home. With trepidation, I inserted the key into the lock. It turned with a reluctant groan, and the door creaked open, revealing a room frozen in time. The air within was thick with the residue of memories, and the walls seemed to pulse with the echoes of Christmases long past. In the center of the room stood a Christmas tree, its decorations mirroring those on our own tree outside. The presents beneath it, however, were wrapped in vintage paper and bore the names of people I had never known. The room seemed suspended in a different era, untouched by the passage of time. As I explored further, the whispers grew more distinct, revealing the untold stories of those who had once celebrated within these walls. The joyous laughter, the exchange of heartfelt gifts, and the warmth of familial bonds reverberated through the air. But beneath the surface lay a shadowy undercurrent, a tale of forgotten promises and secrets buried in the recesses of time. One particular gift, wrapped in dusty paper, drew my attention. The key's pulse quickened as I unwrapped it, revealing a faded photograph. The faces in the picture were unfamiliar, yet their eyes held a haunting familiarity. As I stared into the captured moment, the whispers transformed into sorrowful pleas, as if the spirits of the past sought recognition and redemption. The room became a spectral theater, replaying scenes of bygone Christmases with a cast of long-lost characters. I witnessed moments of love, betrayal, and regret, each revelation adding another layer to the intricate tapestry of the forgotten. As the clock struck 1, the room seemed to exhale, and the door creaked closed behind me. The antique key, now a relic charged with the weight of untold stories, rested in my hand. The whispers faded, leaving behind a profound stillness. I emerged from the hidden room, the echoes of the past trailing behind me like the fading notes of a melancholic carol. The house, once vibrant with the joy of the present, now held the silent echoes of a Christmas long gone. In the following days, the antique key became a cherished artifact, a reminder that the spirits of the past may linger, seeking acknowledgement and release. The room remained locked, its secrets preserved in the hidden corners of our home. The haunting present had unraveled the threads of time, revealing that the memories we celebrate during the holidays are not only our own but a collective tapestry woven by the ghosts of Christmas past. The wind howled outside, rattling the windows as I huddled close to the fireplace, the flickering flames casting eerie shadows across the living room. It was Christmas Eve, and the air was thick with a sense of foreboding that I couldn't quite shake off. My family and I had decided to spend the holiday in an old, secluded cabin in the woods, away from the hustle and bustle of the city. The snow-covered landscape outside seemed serene, but there was something unsettling about the silence that blanketed the forest. As the night grew darker, my sister, Emily, suggested we share ghost stories to add a thrill to our Christmas Eve. We gathered around the fire, the flames casting dancing shadows on our faces, creating an atmosphere that seemed perfect for a tale of the supernatural. "All right, I'll start," Emily said, her voice barely above a whisper. Legend has it that this very cabin is haunted by the ghost of a lonely old woman who used to live here. They say she died on a cold Christmas night, forgotten and alone. A chill ran down my spine, but I dismissed it as the wind whistled through the trees outside. Come on, Em, you're just trying to scare us, I scoffed. But Emily wasn't deterred. No, seriously. They say she wanders through the woods, searching for companionship. And on Christmas Eve, she comes back to the cabin, hoping to find someone to spend the night with. My younger brother, Jake, shivered and pulled his blanket tighter around himself. That's just an old wives' tale, right? I forced a laugh, trying to ease the tension in the room. Of course it is. Ghosts aren't real, and we're perfectly safe in this cabin. As if on cue, the fire flickered, casting an unnatural glow across Emily's face. She continued the story, her tone low and haunting. They say that if you listen carefully, you can hear her whispering in the wind, asking for company. And if you don't invite her in, she'll haunt you until the end of your days. A sudden gust of wind rattled the cabin, causing the windows to creak. I shook off the unease settling in my chest. Nice try, Em. But let's not ruin Christmas with spooky tales. We all tried to dismiss Emily's story, but the atmosphere in the cabin had changed. The air felt heavier, and the silence outside seemed to press against the windows. Later that night, as we settled into our beds, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. I tossed and turned, trying to convince myself that it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. The wind outside had grown into a howling symphony, and the shadows danced menacingly on the walls. Suddenly, a soft voice echoed through the darkness, barely audible over the wind. Let me in. My eyes shot open, and I sat up in bed, my heart pounding in my chest. Did anyone else hear that? I whispered into the darkness. Silence. I shook Emily awake, and she groggily mumbled. What is it? Did you hear that voice? I asked, my voice trembling. She sat up, listening intently. The wind outside continued its mournful wail, but there was no other sound. You're imagining things, Emily said, lying back down. But just as she settled in, the voice returned, louder this time, a desperate plea cutting through the night. Let me in. I'm so cold. I pulled the covers tighter around me, paralyzed with fear. The voice seemed to be coming from right outside our window. I glanced at Emily, and her wide-eyed expression mirrored my own terror. What do we do? Jake whimpered from across the room. The voice grew more insistent, the words now a desperate chant. Let me in. Let me in. And then, the chilling realization struck me. The voice sounded hauntingly familiar, like the echo of a long-forgotten memory. It was the voice of a lonely old woman, searching for warmth and companionship on a cold Christmas night. I mustered the courage to approach the window and peek through the curtains. My breath caught in my throat as I saw the figure standing in the snow, her ghostly silhouette illuminated by the moonlight. The old woman's eyes locked onto mine, and a cold shiver ran down my spine. Let me in, she pleaded once more. Unable to resist, I whispered, come in. The wind ceased its howling, and the cabin fell into an eerie silence. The fire in the fireplace flickered, casting strange shadows on the walls. And as the door creaked open, a gust of frigid air swept through the room. I turned back to my bed, and there, nestled between Emily and Jake, was the ghostly figure of the old woman. She smiled, her eyes filled with a melancholy warmth. And as the fire burned low, casting long shadows across the room, we spent that Christmas night in the company of a lonely spirit, finding solace in the strangest of holiday companions. Christmas Day dawned with the promise of joy and togetherness. The house echoed with the laughter of family, the scent of holiday feasts filling the air. As the day unfolded, the warmth of shared moments and festive cheer enveloped us, and the rooms echoed with the joyous spirit of the season. As night descended, the merriment continued, the glow of Christmas lights casting a warm ambience. I retreated to my room, seeking a moment of solitude amid the holiday revelry. The soft glow of fairy lights framed the window, and the snow outside sparkled in the moonlight, a serene backdrop to the festive festivities. Alone in my room, a subtle tapping at the window drew my attention. I approached cautiously, parting the curtain to reveal a figure cloaked in shadows. Its eyes, devoid of warmth, met mine through the frost-covered glass. A shiver ran down my spine as the figure spoke, its voice a chilling whisper carried by the winter wind. "I am the unseen visitor, the harbinger of forgotten oaths." It intoned, the words weaving an otherworldly spell. My breath caught in my throat as the figure vanished into the night, leaving behind a lingering sense of foreboding. The festive ambience of the house seemed to dim, replaced by a subtle disquiet. The air thickened with an unspoken tension, and as the clock neared midnight, the familiar sounds of Christmas became punctuated by an eerie silence. Soft footsteps, almost imperceptible, echoed through the hallways. Unseen hands brushed against my skin, sending a chill through my veins. I hesitated, caught in a moment suspended between curiosity and trepidation. The house seemed alive with an unseen energy, as if the very walls held secrets waiting to be revealed. As the clock struck midnight, the room plunged into darkness. A spectral presence enveloped the space, and the air became charged with a palpable tension. Whispers, too faint to decipher, echoed through the stillness. The unseen visitor's voice resonated, a reminder that on this Christmas night, the debts of the past demanded payment. I stood alone, vulnerable to the ethereal forces at play. The air shimmered, and the room became a canvas for unseen apparitions. Faces from the past flickered like ghostly projections, their eyes reflecting a haunting familiarity. The unseen visitor's voice returned, weaving tales of promises broken and oaths forgotten. The room transformed into a spectral theater, playing out scenes of a bygone era, a tapestry of memories, regrets, and unfulfilled vows. The unseen hands guided me through the corridors of time, revealing the untold stories etched into the very foundations of the house. As the spectral journey unfolded, I found myself drawn to a forgotten room tucked away in the back of the house. The door, seemingly untouched by time, creaked open as if welcoming an old friend. Inside, shadows danced along the walls, and the air pulsed with the echoes of the past. The room held the vestiges of a forgotten era, a time when promises were made and bonds forged. A weathered journal lay open on a dusty desk, its pages filled with the intimate musings of those who had once called this place home. The unseen visitor's voice guided me through the passages, revealing the heartaches and joys of those who had walked these halls before me. As the clock approached the early hours of Christmas morning, the spectral presence began to fade. The whispers diminished, and the unseen hands released their hold. The room returned to stillness, the weight of the past lifting like a dissipating fog. Alone in the darkness, I pondered the revelations brought forth by the unseen visitor. The debts of the past had been acknowledged, and the house, once a silent witness to forgotten oaths, seemed to exhale with a sense of closure. With the first light of dawn, the specter's presence dissipated entirely. The house, bathed in the soft glow of morning, stood as a silent testament to the unseen visitor's nocturnal visitation. As the world outside embraced the dawn of a new day, the echoes of the past lingered, a reminder that the unseen visitor, though departed, had left an indelible mark on the tapestry of this Christmas night.